Night Stalkers, gather round. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into Among Ashes, the latest offering from indie studio Ratcliff Gaming, released on December 9th, 2024. This first person survival horror promises to blur the lines between gaming and the supernatural, placing you into the chilling role of someone who just received a link to a mysterious haunted video game in some weird forum. Set in December 2001, the premise feels like an urban legend come to life, and I'm here for it. Among Ashes is Ratcliffe's ambitious attempt to channel nostalgia and terror into one deeply unsettling experience. It's an indie survival horror title that invites players to uncover the eerie secrets of a cursed video game, all while testing your nerves with resource management, environmental puzzles, and first person exploration. Think Silent Hill meets Stay Alive, one of my favorite movies, but with the intimacy and grit of a small team's vision. Does it deliver? Let's find out. Let's talk about the atmosphere and setting of Among Ashes, because this game is all about immersion, and it nails it. The game's visual design constantly shifts, thanks to its unique premise of being a game within a game within a game. Each section feels like its own experience. First, we dive into high octane Doom style chaos, then Nightcall, which has nostalgic visuals that are a clear nod to the survival horror aesthetic of the Resident Evil classics. And later on, an 8-beat jungle themed adventure straight out of the Commodore 64 era. It's like stepping into a time capsule for horror gaming. But the heart of the story, where the real horror lies, keeps up with modern indie standards. Think titles like The Mortuary Assistant or Crimson Snow. The graphics are gritty and atmospheric, perfectly complementing the dread filled environments. It's not overproduced, but it's just polished enough to feel authentic. Now, the sound design is where Among Ashes truly shines. Every footstep echoes in the silence, building tension. The ambient noise keeps you on edge, and when the scares come, they feel earned, not cheap. And in Nightcall, just hearing enemies nearby wasn't enough to make me second guess every move. Dying to those things was not an option. The story begins subtly, with breadcrumbs scattered across the different games you play. What starts as a seemingly random collection of haunted games slowly unravels into a chilling, cohesive narrative. It's like peeling back the layers of an old cursed artifact. You realize too late just how deep it goes.
Screams? Oh my. Well, I'm sorry, but I was here all night, and
And one of the things that I found brilliant of the game is the vagueness of the main character. Barely fleshed out, and that's intentional because it creates a void for you, the player, to step into it. You're not just playing a character, you're living this nightmare. You feel like you're the guy who got an indie game recommended by a friend. Oh, I highly recommend this game. And you're playing it, and just like that, you start looking at your door. Moments like the haunting messenger message drops and seeing the girl randomly mentioned for the first time, I mean, it sends shivers down my spine. As you get deeper into the story, the breadcrumbs lead you to the heart of the story, what lies with whoever made the game and why they made it. A horror that gets very real very fast. It's no longer about nostalgic fan service. It's about survival, fear, and facing an ancient evil tied to the cursed games themselves. The deeper you go, the more the line between the player's world and the game world starts to blur. Now, this is where Among Ashes shines. It hooks you with a sense of familiarity and then drags you into uncharted territory. If you thought this was just another indie horror game, think again. The lore is rich, terrifying, and it will stay with you long after you've logged out. When it comes to the gameplay, Among Ashes keep things straightforward and accessible. The controls are intuitive, making it easy to pick up and play. Starting with Nightcall, the retro-inspired survival segment, some might say the movement feels a bit bricky, but honestly, that's part of the old school charm. It's like stepping into a lost relic of the PS1 era. And speaking of relics, the first puzzle surprised me. Its code was completely different for the ones I compared to other players that I saw on YouTube. Yeah, I tried to cheat, it didn't work. Turns out they're randomized. So if you're thinking about looking up the answers online, think again. There's no cheating allowed here. Resource management is key. For anyone that's played Resident Evil, you know what this means. Nightcall doesn't hand you a surplus of items, it makes every bullet and medkit count. Or in this case, painkillers. My advice, play it smart, don't rush, and sometimes, yeah, rush and run. Trust me, fleeing from danger is often the best choice, especially when you're cornered. Another surprise was the use of the achievements as part of the storytelling. You unlock achievements as you play with names like Behind You, Hello, or a meme like, oh, hi, Mark. And that was pretty funny. And here's where the game kind of flipped the script on me. You'll hit a point where it takes your ability to fight back away from you. Like, literally, you cannot do anything. Suddenly, it's not about combat, it's about just surviving long enough to unravel the story. Now, let me be real with you. Among Ashes scare me in a way I haven't felt in years. I mean, genuinely spine tingling, looking over my shoulder scared. I had to fight the urge to just put the controller down and just leave it for another day. Um, and that was really fun. I haven't felt that in a while. There I was, lights off, headphones cranked up when I heard this knock in the game, and I'll be honest, it had me glancing at my own door. To make things worse, my dog started freaking out at the same time because I guess she picked up the sound, so yeah, that did not help. So I was like here at 2 in the morning freaking out. Literally pausing my game in the game and pausing the game to get off my chair and look around. But that's the magic of Among Ashes. Its jump scares aren't cheap, they're effective. Every sound and shadow keeps you on edge. And let's not forget the zombies. Every encounter is a gamble, making exploration feel like literal life or death situations. Just because you cleared the room, when you come back doesn't mean that room is gonna be cleared. So like I said, the game pulls this brilliant meta twist where it forces you to pause and explore your real world flat around the eyes of the protagonist. So you gotta pause the game and get your protagonist off the chair. It's a jarring reminder that the game within the game isn't exactly the game you're actually playing. It's a whole new layer of immersion and it works. Just remember to keep playing. So here's the final verdict. Among Ashes is one hell of a horror experience. It's scary, immersive, and dripping with nostalgia. The game's story really pulls you in, and while it has its flaws, like the bricky gameplay that might remind you of old school Resident Evil, and a few light bugs, they're easy to overlook for what you're getting. If you're a horror fan, this is a must play. Streamers, this is packed with jump scare gold that'll keep your audience on edge and create lots of content. And for anyone who remembers sitting at your PC late at night with MSN Messenger up, a game booted, and trolling forums looking for something to do, this is like a creepy love letter to those days. Among Ashes knows exactly what it's doing. It's a nostalgic nightmare in all the right ways. I highly recommend it, so go ahead and boot it up if you dare. And don't forget, if you played it, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What was the scariest moment for you? What did you like the most? Let me know. And what other games are you playing right now?